Ranger team, it's a new hero every night, and that hero tonight was Alexandar Georgiev. You could not have predicted this. No one could have predicted this. A 44-save shutout by Alexandar Georgiev in what may have been, and I don't think it is, but what may have been his last game as a New York Ranger, with the trade deadline being tomorrow. Now, that would take not only the Rangers, someone valuing Georgiev, and after this game, I'm sure that it could change the mind of a GM, but one game, really shouldn't do that. But maybe if someone had already been interested, maybe it piques their interest even further. But it would also take the Rangers acquiring a veteran goaltender as well. It would not be a simple matter of them just elevating Kincaid to backup. They wouldn't do that. So there's multiple things in play. So I don't think that will be the case, but Georgiev was just sensational. And it's never been lack of talent for Georgiev. Like it's a mental thing. It's inconsistency. And when things go south for him, like, it just snowballs there. So, we've seen Alexandar Georgiev play really good hockey for the Rangers before, and maybe this is just living in the moment, but this feels like the best start that he's ever had. There were some other big games, but just the magnitude, if this felt bigger, the odds were completely stacked against the Rangers. Think about it. They're coming off of a win at Tampa, a game which they played really well, and it was a very quick turnaround. That was an 8 o'clock start, and this was a 6 o'clock start. Like, you just don't see, that doesn't happen too often, where the start times are 22 hours apart. Like, that's pretty rare. So that's one thing. Plus, you had a Carolina team who was coming in on a 3-game losing streak. And also, the Rangers snapped Carolina's 14-game home point streak. Like, with Georgiev in net, it's not like, oh, well, maybe Igor will do his thing. Like, no, like, this was not a game that you would expect the Rangers to win. And look, they got outshot 44-18. That's just the crazy thing about the Rangers, is that a lot of the times they get outshot like crazy, not like this, and they win. There's got to be something to that. What it is, I'm not sure, but I think there's a part of me that feels like, look, the Rangers got very lucky in this game. I felt like there were parts of this game where the Rangers definitely struggled. Carolina's a team that likes to shoot. Shot attempts is their thing. So in that way, it's slightly skewed. But Carolina really was the better team than the Rangers. I felt like the Rangers played better against the Lightning than Carolina. The Tampa game was much better. This was a game where, and it's ironic, right? Like, you think, oh, the game that the goalie saved was an Igor game. Nope. Georgiev was just so good. And, not that this is a storyline that should really be given much attention, but it is, look, it's hard to ignore. Like, Tony DeAngelo returned for Carolina. He had been hurt. And, there was the whole thing last year where DeAngelo's really last moments as a Ranger was when he got into a scuffle with Georgiev. And I'm sure Georgiev's not thinking about it in the moment while he's making saves. I'm sure in preparation for the game, like, it's all there. And so it's kind of like a storybook sort of situation where Georgiev just plays out of his mind in the most unlikely spot. You just would have never thought that he would do that. But with him, you can tell early on how the night's going to go. And he was making some good saves, staying in the groove, and he really he was the star. He was the star of this game. And, oh, yeah, who scored again? Chris Kreider. His 41st goal of the season. It just doesn't stop. So the chase for 50, it's alive. It is. And if he doesn't get there, so be it. Like, he has so exceeded expectations, it's not even funny. But while we're at it, Kreider, the Rangers have about 18 games remaining. They are 40-18-5, which is 63. So even more, 19 games left. So 19 games left and he needs 9 goals. like it can be, if he continues the way he's been playing, and he stays healthy, that can be done, which would just be an amazing accomplishment for him to do that. So Kreider again is part of the storyline, and the Rangers in this game, the power play, it only got 2 chances, but the power play wasn't there. Carolina was really swarming the Rangers. Carolina had more time and space. The Rangers didn't have a whole lot to work with, but the penalty kill did a good job when it was asked to do so, and it's just amazing that the Rangers were able to win at Tampa and at Carolina back-to-back situation. Like, that is such an accomplishment. Like that, and that's just what they've done all year. Like, they lose a tough game to the Islanders. How do they respond? They win at Tampa and at Carolina, 2 of the best teams in the league. So now the Rangers, as I had mentioned before, 40-18-5. Now, like, if you look at them, like, it doesn't, like, on paper, there's a difference between on paper and when you watch them. Like, sure, on paper, when you see some of these, Shesterkin statistics and Kreider and Fox and Zibanejad, Panarin, so on and so forth, Trouba, like, but when you watch them, like, this isn't a 40-18-5 team, but yet they just find ways to win. They really do. And I guess with Gerard Gallant's system, the Rangers have gotten a lot better structurally, where, yes, do they allow a lot of shots? They do, but a lot of them aren't always like prime opportunities. With that has probably come a decrease in offense. That's just how it goes. But with Gerard Gallant, the Rangers are not giving up that many goals. And look, if you want to credit Shesterkin, absolutely. And there's other people to give praise to, but it's just the facts. And the way the Rangers are playing, this is playoff style hockey. So while I do fear the Rangers just scoring being such a problem that how are they going to get to where they need to get to, at the same time, they're not allowing goals. Like, that's why I feel like still a team, as currently constituted, like a Toronto, there's issues there. Like, if you're, and the way the Rangers used to play in recent years, if they had ever got to the playoffs, and, I know that there was that, brief occurrence against Carolina, the bubble, I don't really count that, but they didn't do well in it. The teams that perform well are the ones that don't allow goals. It may not be fun to always watch. It may be a bit nerve-wracking because those games are typically close, but that's just kind of how it is, and the Rangers are playing that way. So my point is that there's every reason, just like I could see the Rangers just getting bounced quickly in the first round, they could also, who knows? It's pretty wide open, and the Rangers have shown the ability to beat the top teams in the Eastern Conference, which is where, you're going to have to go through. That's a win against Carolina. That's 3 out of 3 against Tampa, 2 out of 3 against Florida, 2 out of 3 against Toronto, 2 out of 2 against Boston. Look, you can't ignore it. But as far as this game goes, the Rangers took a couple of penalties early. Adam Fox, that's now back-to-back games with penalties for Fox, who usually doesn't take penalties, but that was at 56 seconds. And then Braden Schneider at 16:22 is called for a hooking penalty as he hooked Jordan Staal. It was a weak call, but I will say Schneider kind of put himself in that position to potentially take that penalty, and Schneider's game has slipped. I'll continue to say that. I think the future is really bright for Braden Schneider, and I'd like for him to continue to play, but that Patrick Nemeth-Braden Schneider pair, it's a bit of a liability. But the top 4 has really stepped up in a major way. It's been very good. So in the first period, Carolina outshoots the Rangers 14-3. And at one point, the shots were 26-4 Carolina, and yet it was still tied. Just amazing. So moving ahead to the second, it would be at 4:45, Patrick Nemeth is called for roughing on Sebastian Aho. They didn't really get a good replay of that, so they showed it, but it wasn't really clear. Nemeth was pretty pissed off afterwards, but like I said, there's a major dependence on that top 4, which is probably one of the better top 4s in hockey. With that third pair, which is, it's tough to come by. That's why with Chris Drury, as much as I think the forwards are more of the need for me, you can never have enough defensemen. So you wonder, you really do, what he does. And then at 6:38, Kokanyemi hooks Goodrow. Bit of a makeup call, honestly, after the Rangers had been called for 3 penalties. So that's kind of how I saw a little bit. But the Rangers power play does not get anything done. Then there's a 20-minute on the ice penalty in Carolina, and the Rangers don't do anything there either. However, later in the second, there's a play where the ref blows it dead. Frederik Andersen did not have the puck. He was out of it. Was kind of like a little behind the net, more to the side of the net. And Philip Hedl takes the puck and eventually stuffs it in. Now, the Carolina players stop playing. So to say, oh, if the ref doesn't blow this dead, the Rangers would have scored, that's not fair. Could it have led to a goal? Yes, but we don't know that would have happened. But the point is, it was completely egregious. The puck was clearly not under Andersen, but the ref lost sight of the puck and he stopped the play. But very soon thereafter, the Rangers respond, and it's Chris Kreider with a deflection. That's how he gets a lot of his goals. He's one of the best deflectors in the league, and it was on a shot by Jacob Trouba. And Alexis Lafreniere gets an assist as well. So Lafreniere, that's a 3-game point streak for Lafreniere, which is always nice to see because I feel like there were times when he was playing well this year and wasn't really being rewarded on the stat sheet. Now I feel like his play last 2 games has been up and down, I guess. Like, I wouldn't say it was bad, but I feel like he's had better moments, but yet the points are coming. But Kreider gets his 41st, a really nice shot by Trouba where he takes the Lafreniere pass and just shoots it right away. No hesitation, slap shot, and he gets it through. And last year for Trouba, he was getting the shots blocked. It just, offensively, he seemed so inept. Not the case this year. So really, I can't say enough about the K'Andre Miller-Jacob Trouba pair. They have been so good. K'Andre Miller is really just growing before our eyes. This is someone who has all the potential to be really one of the best defensemen in the league. There's the physical skills are there. He's still very young, and that Miller-Trouba pair has been excellent. And look, Lindgren-Fox, it's been better lately. I think I probably took it for granted for too long. I mean, it was so good for so long, and I feel like they've had some struggles lately, so I've been a little bit more critical of them. But they have sort of picked it back up as well. So the Rangers make it 1-0, and we head to the third. And at this point, I'm still thinking, look, if the Rangers end up with a point, even though they're up, I will take it. And in the third period, Carolina outshot the Rangers 15-7 in the second, and they would outshoot them 15-8 in the third. And in the third, it was a bit of a shooting gallery at times for Carolina, but I really thought the Rangers did a very good job of closing it out late, like 5-6 minutes left and forward. Like I really feel like the Rangers, they had the puck in Carolina's zone. It wasn't like Georgiev was completely pestered. Although he made a lot of good saves too. Like the chances that Carolina did have were pretty good. And who seals the deal late? It's Frank Vatrano. So Vatrano gets his first goal as a Ranger, his 11th goal on the season overall, with an assist by Zibanejad, who made a nice play. So Mika Zibanejad ends up on the score sheet. He's just been so good. Zibanejad's 38th assist. And that's scored with about 42 seconds left. And the Rangers win it 2-0. Just remarkable. The Rangers only allow 1 goal on the road against Tampa and Carolina. And the funny thing, that one Tampa goal, look, the refs could have blew the whistle when the puck was under Igor. So it's look, it's just crazy that the Rangers are not allowing goals. And so I want to see where they rank. It's no worse than third in terms of goals against per game, but so it's Carolina, Calgary, then the Rangers. And so that's why I'm so high on Carolina, is that even though, there's a little bit of a lack of scoring punch, although Carolina still does rank as 11th, which is still pretty good. Like Florida is a team that scores at will, which is good. But again, come playoff time, I just don't know if that style is necessarily going to translate. That's why I fear a team like Carolina more than Florida. I still believe that even with the way that things are going currently. But the Rangers, like that series against Pittsburgh, if it happens, and I still think it will, although the Rangers are now 3 points back Carolina. Carolina has a game in hand, so it is worth mentioning. I don't think it'll happen, but it can. if it is Rangers Penguins, that's going to be Penguins are 4th in the league in goals against per game. So we know that that's going to be really low scoring. And what I find interesting too is that the Rangers play the Penguins 3 more times this year, twice soon. So the Rangers' next game is at New Jersey after the trade deadline, and then it's home against Pittsburgh, then home against Buffalo, and then at Pittsburgh. So though, you have these Devils and Sabres games, but in the middle of that is a couple of Penguins games as well. And just the last thing is, we will see. I expect to be speaking about potential trades. I would be surprised if there isn't. I don't think that we're going to necessarily see a JT Miller level trade. I think something lesser than that to fill out the roster and to sort of plug the holes that exist on this team. So I'm expecting a couple of deals. That's what I'll say. I don't think it'll be just one. I'll say, let's just say 2. 2 trades. Could I see the Rangers trading out like a second-round pick or 2? I could. I think they're going to try to stay away from trading a first-round pick unless you get in sort of that, top-tier territory. But it will be very interesting to see where Chris Drury goes in this. They've been quiet. We had no idea about the Frank Petrano trade, so expect the unexpected. There are names out there, but maybe they go in a completely different direction. But I have a feeling that it could be a pretty interesting, busy trade deadline Monday, and I'm very excited to see what the New York Rangers do.